Welcome back to episode 14 of The Setup. Today we're going to be talking about various topics around the sports world. We found some more topics to talk about in the Dead Sea of sports. We got football right around the corner. We got MLB coming at a deadline. A little bit of NBA contracts to be talked about. And then Max and I have a big golf outing coming up next week that we're going to be covering. So how are we feeling today, Max?
I feel good, man. I'm happy to be back recording. Obviously, I was out of town for a little while. We pre-recorded some stuff after that, and then you were gone for a little while. It's good to just have both of us back in town and on a steady schedule, ready to record.
Yeah, no, I completely agree on that one. All right, so coming in here now, I think a topic that's become more prevalent than most outside of baseball has been training camp starting up because, you know, football is its own holiday on Sundays.
Yeah. Can I just say something?
Yeah.
I'm so ready for football to be back, man. Like, maybe it's just because our team is kind of just like middle-dwelling, mediocre this year. We've mentioned it before. We're Guardians fans. We play in the worst division in baseball, and there hasn't been a ton to be excited about so far this year. But like, I'm just so ready for college. I know you're not the biggest fan, but the Buckeyes to play, college football, our Browns to be back, and just to be able to sit down on a Sunday and then come back next week to record and have a bunch of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
Yeah, no, college football has definitely grown on me too, the whole atmosphere of it. And I know some stadiums I didn't realize how massive some stadiums are. I think I looked it up, Michigan University Stadium.
Biggest stadium in college football.
Literally, I think it fits 108,000, which is ridiculous because that's more than most NFL stadiums. And, I mean, that goes to show
more than all NFL stadiums, I think.
Yeah. The big house, yeah.
Don't say Michigan University.
University of Michigan, yeah.
Some Michigan guys will get upset with you there.
Well, they don't deserve it. So.
I don't have any problem with that as a Buckeye fan.
Okay, so sticking just with this football topic, so we've obviously, like we said, have started training camp. We've had some new signings, just a bunch of new headlines. So starting off with some of the topics I want to throw out and cover, and Max, I'd love to hear your opinion on these as well. Kind of a scary sight today in Cincinnati. Joe Burrow got hurt while running a play in 11-on-11s. He snapped the ball. It was a non-contact injury. He was rolling out to his right, stepped up in the pocket, and then simply the play stopped. And I think the entire city of Cincinnati was a shot heard around the world were, you know, biting their fingernails for the next couple hours while waiting to find out. So just what is your take on it? I know it was only a sprain, but...
Yeah, they said it was a calf injury. Truth be told, even though I'm high on the Ravens this year, I'm optimistic about the Steelers. And as you guys know, we love our Browns. I'm still picking the Bengals to win the division.
No,
I don't. Obviously, we don't know just because it happened a couple hours ago, the severity of the injury. I don't think it'll be that bad. I would have to imagine just like a calf strain. He definitely didn't tear his calf.
They said it was a strain.
Yeah, a calf strain. I mean, that's like... Some guys will play with that throughout the season if they sustain that type of injury. Give me the Bengals to win the division. So.
Yeah. Okay, so then sticking kind of on the topic of injuries, there was also a couple other injuries. Garrett Wilson was also carted off of practice today as well. His injury did not.
I didn't even see that.
His injury did not look like it was very severe. They said that it didn't look too bad. They just wanted to be safe with it. Also, Gabe Davis also left practice with an injury, and then an even bigger headline: Jaylen Ramsey was carted off after going up for a one-on-one with Tyreek Hill, and he had a really bad injury to his knee. He was carted off. They came out after and said he needs knee surgery and that he's going to be out for a long time.
So what they said, actually, is he's getting knee surgery done this Sunday, and he'll be out for the start of the season. The timetable from Sunday is 6 to 8 weeks. So it's not like a major knee ligament tear or anything like that. He's probably going to miss a few games to start the year. I like that defense maybe more than some other people do, so I think they'll be able to be all right, at least for the first couple weeks of the year, considering we have, 5 weeks until the NFL season starts?
Yeah.
Going back to Garrett Wilson, though, I am super, super excited for Jets Hard Knocks. I don't know if you saw
Oh,
the clip.
yeah, yes.
Did you see the clip of him and Sauce Gardner?
No, I didn't see that clip, but I know that they're doing Hard Knocks on them.
So I'll be totally honest. I love the Jets this year. I picked them to go to the Super Bowl and lose to the Eagles. There was this clip that came out. It was Sauce Gardner. It was probably like 3 or 4 reps of him and Garrett Wilson doing one-on-ones. And Robert Saleh just goes, these guys are going to make each other great, which is so true.
Yeah.
It's something that not a lot of people think about. But when you have the offensive rookie of the year and the defensive rookie of the year going head-to-head against each other every practice, every single day, that's only going to make those guys so much better.
It's iron sharpens iron, and I mean,
Literally.
it's not a new situation either for Aaron Rodgers either, because he had Devontae, and lining up on the other side of him was Jair Alexander.
Exactly.
So it's a very familiar territory. I think it also will make Aaron therefore better as well.
I think that's something kind of people underrate with big teams or with good teams is not only does it pay to just have like a competent roster where people are talented enough and capable enough of generating wins and making you a good team, but you got to think on the day-to-day. If you have great players going up against great players, that's only going to make those great teams better in the long run, especially when you have 2 young guys who are already elite at their position.
Yeah, no, you're spot on with that. I mean, I think the future is definitely bright there too with the Jets. Also, quick going back to our stadiums, I didn't know MetLife was the biggest stadium in the NFL.
Yeah, I didn't know that either, but now that you say that, I mean,
Yeah,
2 New York City teams.
I always thought it was AT&T.
I thought it was AT&T too.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it.
I drove past Lucas Oil a few days ago as well too. That stadium's also
Another one you would think that's pretty big, but really isn't, is SoFi out in Los Angeles. I think it's mostly just because the Rams have about 32 fans moving from St. Louis to Los Angeles. But
yeah, it's all tourists.
It's literally all tourists.
Yeah. So then now, swinging it over to the camp in Jacksonville. I've been seeing a lot of clips on Calvin Ridley. Been seeing Trevor Lawrence connecting with Calvin Ridley a lot. I know Max, you're big on that. So
Let me tell you something. Trevor Lawrence, my MVP pick. I love what I'm seeing out of the Jags camp. Did you see the video of Zay Jones versus Calvin Ridley running that route?
he looks like a lightning bolt.
There's this old video you got to check out. You can probably find it on TikTok or YouTube or whatever you guys prefer when you're listening. So basically, it virtually plays out the exact same way. It's in the early 90s, late 2000s. Do you know who John Randall is, Ethan?
Yes. Yeah.
So John Randall, Hall of Fame defensive tackle for the Minnesota Vikings. Basically, it's just this 4-bag pass rush drill that they're running in practice. The difference between John Randall versus like a third-string defensive tackle running through this drill is insane. And I know a lot of you guys who listen are probably athletes, people who played sports, like to listen to shows about sports. Putting into practice exactly how you're going to play and sharpening yourself and having that intensity matters so much. And I just feel like it speaks volumes when you see a guy that's so hungry like Calvin Ridley, who sat out an entire season for gambling, versus Zay Jones, who's probably on his 5th team right now. The Jags are absolutely electric, and I love them going into this season.
Yeah, things are looking great. Obviously with them there, they also got a whole new practice facility, I think too, which I saw Trevor Lawrence was.
And I will say, I do have a soft spot for the teams, the proverbial terrible teams in the NFL
That are playing well.
The Browns, the Lions, the Jags, that are kind of on the come up. So maybe it's a little bit of homerism out of me, but I just really like the Jags this year.
Staying on topic of a team potentially on the come up, question mark? OBJ is full participant in practice, and he is full-fledged back.
He looks good, man. I'm not going to lie. He looks really, really, really good.
And, I mean, because coming off of that ACL injury, I know he obviously sat out last year. He got his ring the year before. Caught a touchdown in the Super Bowl. I mean, I think this team is nothing short of a contender to win this division. Obviously, I know we talked earlier about injuries potentially plaguing them just because they're an injury-prone team.
Yeah.
But I think the sky's the limit for the potential on this offense. It's just...
Absolutely. This is kind of the time of year where all these, like, training camp clips circulate and are on Twitter or whatever you're using. But there was a clip of the Ravens wide receiver coach. OBJ comes down with like a crazy one-hander, and the Ravens wide receiver coach is mic'd up, and he goes, I love that. I love that out of him. That's great. And Zay Flowers, their first-round pick, rookie wide receiver, goes, what do you mean you love that? You're always telling us to use two hands. And he's like, I like that out of him. He's proven that he can do that before.
He has. He clearly
which
has.
is so true. Mm-hmm. If you're a rookie in the league, you kind of gotta pave your own path, earn your own
stripes.
Earn your own stripes for sure.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, now swinging it over to Berea, covering some Browns here. The reports have been, from what the videos have seen, Watson looks pretty good. He looks pretty good on 11 on 11. I wanted to see a full offseason with the Browns and seeing how he can, battle and come back. Been seeing a lot and reading a lot about his connection with Elijah Moore, and been saying that as of right now, it looks like it's going to be his favorite target. I mean, it's obviously today was their first kind of at-length practice from what they said, but Elijah Moore coming down with a lot. And then also towards the end of practice, good shout-out to a younger guy. Martin Emerson made a great play and picked off Deshaun towards the end of practice. So,
listen, man, I'm more than happy to hype up some of these other teams, but the more I talk about them, the more I'm going to generate expectations. So where I'm at with the Browns right now is just wait and see.
Yeah,
if they come out and impress
too.
me, awesome. By all means, I'm going to love to see it. But let me tell you something. I'm older and I'm wiser, and I've seen 21 seasons of Browns football. So I'm at the point where it's like,
you got to limit your expectations.
Come out and impress me.
Yeah.
And if you do, I'm going to be the happiest camper in the world. And if you don't, I won't be surprised.
I mean, essentially that's kind of how it is as a Browns fan. You kind of hope for their winning the division or being in the Super Bowl, but that never necessarily comes into fruition.
That's never happened in our lifetime.
So I mean, hopefully maybe this year's the year, just like every other year.
Yeah.
Last little headline I have before I go into some contracts. Dalvin Cook's obviously circulating. I know he's an old running back. I was seeing Jets. Maybe that could work. Who knows? I just think it'd be interesting to see division-long rivals make up a backfield in New York.
So Dalvin Cook's interesting because obviously he's still at the level and the age where he can produce and he can be a contributor on a good team. But one of the biggest storylines I feel like throughout the last week, 2 weeks, is running backs aren't happy about how they're getting paid.
Yep.
They had a big Zoom meeting, I think it was 3 or 4 days ago, with all the elite running backs in the league, plus Najee Harris. And they talked about kind of just like how the market is so dry for them, how they're not capable of generating second contracts after their rookie extensions. And I honestly feel for them because while it might be the most replaceable position in the league, while it might be financially smart to kind of move off a guy after you've given him his second deal, it's still really frustrating, you got to think, as an athlete who's grinded their whole life to get to the highest level. And like, look at a guy like Derrick Henry, for example. Possibly a Hall of Fame player, multiple-time rushing leader, has led the league in touchdowns, led the league in yards per carry. Quite frankly, if it's not for Derrick Henry, the Titans aren't a perennial playoff team for 3 or 4 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of that, after your second contract, your team's going to say to you, you are not valuable enough for us to give you another contract, for us to not entertain trading you to another team. It feels disrespectful if you're coming from the perspective of those type of players, especially when those guys have grinded all their life to be an NFL player and achieve those type of dreams and make, honestly, like, life-changing money, not for themselves, but for their kids, for their kids' kids. It's really, really frustrating coming from their perspective. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, if you're a GM, you've just got to do what's smart for your franchise. So I don't know what the solution is at that position right now, because from both sides, you're kind of at an impasse, and there has to be some sort of middle ground you can achieve. And I don't know if that's running backs aren't allowed to be franchise tagged. I don't know if that's running backs can't be signed to more than X amount of years on their contract. It's just it's kind of just like a really difficult situation. And if you think about our childhood, the type of guys we loved watching, a lot of those guys are running backs, and they're just not getting the same type of appreciation as they used to, even though they're phenomenal players. But it just doesn't make sense financially right now in the way the NFL is transitioning.
I also think that RB2 and sometimes even RB3s are just that good. Maybe it's a scheme, maybe it's the O-line, but they always seem to fit right in everywhere they are.
For sure. I think that's the difficulty with it. I don't think there's a position in the NFL quite like running back where there's so many other factors that play into your success. You know what I mean? Like, take a guy like Nick Chubb, for example. We consider him to be the best running back in the league, but guess what? He's got one of the better O-lines. He's got one of the better schemes, one of the best offensive line coaches, one of the best head coaches as far as running scheme goes. It's just really difficult to kind of like quantify what these guys are worth to an NFL franchise.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking of that, Saquon finally got his deal, 1 year, $11 million, $2 million signing bonus. I know he said he wasn't necessarily that thrilled about the contract, specifically with Joe Burrow, or not Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert getting a 5-year, $262 million deal. It's kind of a punch in the gut in a way, but again, what necessarily are you supposed to do, and what can you answer with that to say I need more money?
For sure. I think it's really difficult to look at it and say you should absolutely have to pay a guy like Saquon $15 million a year, because let's be honest, was he the best player on that Giants roster last year? Probably. But if Saquon Barkley is your best player, your limitations are still one playoff win, getting knocked out in the first round. You're not going to win a championship when your running back is your best player. I mean, in the last 15 to 20 seasons, when has that happened?
Yeah.
Look at the Chiefs. Look at the Patriots. Look at the Eagles when they won the Super Bowl.
Even look at the Eagles this year with Miles Sanders.
That's what I'm saying. Miles Sanders isn't a great runner of the football, but he had a great scheme. He had a great O-line, and things kind of just shook out for him all right this year. It's not really like a correlation to NFL success. Yes, you can win in the playoffs or get to the playoffs like the Titans have done, like the Giants have done, like the Browns have done to some extent, but it's not going to elevate you to that next level you need to be at in order to be a true threatening championship contender.
And it's a conversation that I know people kind of were thinking about that with the running back market, specifically when Todd Gurley and Le'Veon Bell had those contracts and kind of ruined the market. But, I mean, it's just like, it's crazy because especially after the Deshaun Watson deal, the market for quarterbacks is going up even higher. Like, Watson's deal was groundbreaking for its time. Now he's the 9th highest paid quarterback. So that market's going up, and I think that's kind of why running backs were more so upset at why their market would be going down. So,
for sure.
Nevertheless, moving on here, I prepared a little bit of a quiz for Max. Madden ratings have came out, the new Madden coming up. So I prepared some names. Actually, I shouldn't say some. I prepared a lot of names for Max to guess the overalls on. I'm expecting some you'll be on target with some, and I'm expecting you to not get some just because of how crazy Madden ratings are. So
yeah, listen, everybody's got something to say about Madden ratings every year, so I'm going to try my best with it. I'll try and read some of the guys that they might underrate and some of the guys that they might overrate.
All right, here. So now hopping into our first name that we have, Jamar Chase. What is his Madden rating?
I feel like Madden would put like Jefferson. I know Jefferson's a 98 or 99. I'm guessing they got like Devontae, Diggs, AJ Brown, Cooper Kupp, Tyreek over him. So just like the natural order, I'm gonna say Jamar Chase. Even though I think he should be probably like a 94, I'm going to guess he's like a 92?
He's a 94.
He's a 94?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
Yes. Okay. Next name.
They did right by him, I feel
They
like.
did. They did. I think that's pretty fair. Maybe
Yeah.
a 95, 96. Who knows? Next, Max Crosby.
Oh, I love Max Crosby. I don't think they'll make Max Crosby as good as he should be. I'm going to say an 89.
94.
94. Okay. They're showing
94.
some of my guys some love.
Okay. Next name, DeAndre Hopkins.
DeAndre's totally the type of guy that they'd overrate. I'm going to say they made DeAndre Hopkins like a 95 or something like that.
93.
That's still too high, I feel like.
Okay.
I feel like he should still be a 90, but nothing above. I think he should just be a very solid 90 overall.
Okay. I picked random names here. This is a wide variety. Next name, Greg Newsome.
I'm going to say Greg Newsome is a 78.
He's an 83.
Really?
Yes.
That's pretty high for him, I feel like.
Yes.
I almost feel like Martin Emerson's better than him.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
He
like
could
Martin
be.
Emerson could be an 83.
Okay, so next name, you may know this one, Deshaun Watson.
Oh, I think I heard of. I don't know exactly what it is, but I heard about it. I know he's below an 80. I'm gonna say he's a 78.
Yes.
He's a
yes.
78,
Yes.
yeah.
He's a 78. Okay.
Which makes sense considering he didn't play all. He didn't play all of last year, and the season prior he didn't play at all. I get where they're coming from. I am curious though what his Madden rating was the last full season he played. I bet it's close to 90.
I think it was like a 92 or 93. Juwan Thornhill.
Juan Thornhill. I'm gonna guess he's like an 80.
He is a 78.
Okay. That's in the ballpark.
Okay.
80 was kind of generous.
Yeah. Zadarius Smith.
Zadarius is getting older, but he kind of had a renaissance year last year with the Vikings. Let's go 83.
85.
85.
Yes.
That's pretty generous for Zadarius.
Yes. Okay, next name, Lane Johnson.
Oh, Lane Johnson was so good last year. And he played with injuries the entire year. I mean, there's not a lot of tackles just for one season I would take over Lane Johnson. I would take, like, Trent Williams, maybe Tristan Wirfs, maybe Andrew Thomas. I want to say Lane Johnson's like a 93.
He is a 98.
98?
He was the highest rated tackle.
Over Trent Williams?
Yep. Trent Williams was a 96.
Trent Williams should be a 99 in my opinion. I think if you look at just how good people are at their individual position, if it was just rated on position itself, and it was like the best tackle is a 99, the worst tackle is a 1 overall or whatever it would be. Like Patrick Mahomes would be a 99. Trent Williams should be a 99, man. I just think he's so good in both aspects of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Lane Johnson at a 98 is pretty high for me.
Yeah. Okay.
And maybe I was lowballing with a 93. I would put him at probably like a 95.
Mm-hmm. Okay, going next onto the quarterback that he is protecting, Jalen Hurts.
I'd have to imagine they'll have Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, all above Hurts. Maybe Rodgers, just because Rodgers has been so good for so long. Let's say Hurts is a 91 overall.
88.
That feels low.
I know.
That feels pretty low for Hurts.
Yep. Okay, next name, another random one. Jalen Carter.
They usually do rookies pretty dirty. If I had to guess, he might be like the third highest, or maybe even second highest. I think they'll have Bryce Young as the highest rookie. I'm going to say Jalen Carter is a 77 overall.
79.
79.
Very close. You're on track, though.
Okay.
You're on track. Next name, your favorite, Austin Eckler.
Listen, if anybody's listened to this podcast before, they know I don't think Austin Eckler is that good of a football player. If I was rating Austin Eckler, he would be an 81. In Madden, I'd probably guess he's an 87.
89.
That's way too high.
89, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
way too high.
Okay. All right. Justin Herbert.
Herbert, I'm going to say, what was Hurts?
88.
88. I'm going to say Herbert is a 86 then.
87.
87.
That's right ballpark, though.
That makes sense.
T. Higgins.
Oh, man. Let's go 85 for T, even though I think he should probably be an 86, 87.
He was an 87.
Okay.
Orlando Brown.
Orlando Brown. Listen, if they have Trent Williams as a 95, Orlando Brown should be like an 80 in comparison. But they're going to overrate Orlando Brown. I'm guessing he's like an 89.
83.
Okay.
That's fair.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay. Patrick Peterson.
Pat Pete, man. Let's say Pat Pete's an 80 even.
85.
That's really high.
That's
for
really
Pat
generous.
High. That's super generous.
That's why I
for
put that
Pat
one in.
Pete. That's super generous.
Najee Harris.
Oh, 62. No, I'm just kidding. Najee is probably an 82 if I had to guess.
83.
Okay.
Close.
That's probably fair.
Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickett should probably be like a 79. I'm going to guess if Watson was what, a 78?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to guess Kenny Pickett is probably a 77.
73.
Really?
Yes.
That's pretty low for Kenny.
They have Kenny Pickett as
I think
73.
people forget they went 7-2 to end the year last year, and a lot of those games were like Kenny Pickett-led comebacks.
Yeah.
And I hate to give love to Steelers, but I do like Kenny Pickett quite a bit.
Another AFC North quarterback, Lamar Jackson.
Listen, I think Lamar should be like a 95. I'm guessing he's probably like a 92.
91.
91? Okay. Here's what I'll say.
You've gotten. I should have rephrased this. I should have given you within like one or two.
I've maybe gotten 2 of these right, but I feel like I've been within 2 of probably like.
I'm gonna give them to you now. If you get him within 2.
Cool. Perfect.
Justin Tucker.
He should be a 99. I'm just saying. Justin Tucker should be a 99.
He's good. He's really good.
Let me tell you something. I went to my first ever NFL game that wasn't at Cleveland Browns Stadium this past fall. I have never in my life seen more of a pop for a player than when Justin Tucker entered the game at M&T Bank Stadium where the Ravens play to kick what was a game-tying field goal in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
People in Baltimore love Justin Tucker, and rightfully so. What is he?
91.
That's ridiculous. Justin Tucker should be a 99.
Mm-hmm.
He's the best kicker of our generation, and it's not even close.
Some would also say Phil Dawson, my old basketball coach, but
Fun fact.
That's another story.
Fun fact. Phil Dawson's kids I played flag football with from 5th to 7th grade. Or not 5th to 7th grade. That's not even close. Like 3rd to 5th grade.
Yeah, it was very interesting. It was Phil Dawson was the head coach of my basketball team, and the assistant coach was my mom. So very interesting coaching staff right there.
Yes.
Next, OBJ.
Oh, they're totally going to overrate OBJ. OBJ should be like, I think he should be like an 80. I'm guessing he's like an 85.
Yes,
He's
right
an
on.
85?
Right
Okay.
on. Interesting name. I don't know why I threw this in here. Melvin Gordon.
Oh, man. Is he on a roster?
Yeah, he got signed to the Ravens.
Really?
Yeah.
And you know they'll need it because whoever the running back one is will be injured by week 5.
Dobbins and Justin Hill, yeah.
They still have Gus Edwards?
And Gus Edwards.
And Gus Edwards.
So I think Melvin Gordon's 4.
I think Melvin Gordon's going to be like a 72?
73.
73?
No, 72. You were dead on.
72!
You were dead on.
Okay. That was a good one. I like that one.
Zach Martin.
Zach Martin needs to be like at least a 97.
I'm
going to say he's a 97.
He's in the 99 club this year.
Really?
He's in the 99.
Good for him. I mean, he's a Hall of Fame guard. He deserves his flowers.
He's still the 8th highest paid tackle as well.
He's a guard.
Our guard, sorry. 8th highest guard. Our old lineman.
He should be, bro. He's phenomenal.
Next, the Sauce Gardner.
Even though he was hands down the best corner in the league last year, I don't feel like they give rookies that crazy of a bump. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Even if they have a great season. I'm going to say Sauce is probably... Would they put Sauce in the 90s? I'm going to say Sauce is a 91.
93.
Okay.
There you go.
He's definitely got to be the highest rated second-year player, if I had to guess.
Oh, yeah. Has to be.
Without a doubt.
Next, his newest teammate, Aaron Rodgers.
Let's say Rodgers is 93 conservatively.
86.
No way.
Yep. He's an 86.
An 86?
Yep, he's an 86.
He's 1 year removed from back-to-back MVPs.
I know.
That's surprising.
He's an 86.
That's surprising.
Next name, Von Miller.
Let me tell you something. Von Miller should not be higher than an 85 overall. They probably made him like an 86, but he should not. I think he should be like an 82. He shouldn't be higher than an 85, though.
He's a 94.
That's ridiculous. That is the most heinous one on the list by far so far.
He is a 94.
What was OBJ?
He was an 85.
OBJ being an 85 is far less ridiculous than Von Miller being a 94 in his age. Let me check this real quick. In his age 34 season. That is ridiculous.
Yeah. Next name, Deebo Samuel.
Trust me, I know because I had Deebo in fantasy last year. He was super disappointing. Rumor has it, I don't know if you saw this, Kyle Shanahan in his training camp presser said he's never received more shirtless pics from anyone other than Deebo Samuel.
What?
Because I guess Deebo's been sending him a lot of like physique updates because he was a little bit out of shape last year.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess Deebo is an 89.
You got it. Dead on.
Dead on.
Dead on. That's really good. Okay. Yeah, that was a good snipe. Justin... Oh, sorry. Not Justin Tucker. We already talked about him. Jonathan Taylor.
I think people are underrating Jonathan Taylor. I think Madden would too. I think he should be about a 90. And I'm going to stick with that.
89. So,
okay.
You got that right. It's within 2. Tyler Lockett.
Tyler Lockett's underrated, man. Let's just go rapid fire.
We got 5 left.
87.
89. Got that. Joe Mixon.
86.
87. Calvin Ridley.
85.
Yes. That is now 5 in a row. Greedy Williams.
76.
73.
Ah.
And to end us off on a high note, Baker Mayfield.
Ooh. 71?
72.
72, okay.
Okay, so you actually did. I should have counted some of the more points towards the beginning, but
It's
you
fine.
ended up
It's
on a good
fine.
rate.
I thought I did all right.
Yeah,
I
no,
thought I
think-
did all right.
And Madden is very unpredictable. Like Von Miller, that is very unpredictable.
That's insane.
That's very unpredictable. Okay, so now swinging us over to the baseball diamond. Trade deadline is coming up now here on August 1st. We've had written down now, I have 5 moves. I kept off one of the moves that was pretty much just a cap dump for the Padres. Coming in with one of the biggest trades for us personally is Ahmed Rosario traded to the Los Angeles Dodgers for Noah Syndergaard plus cash considerations. A lot of skeptics about this trade, a lot of confusion. I trust the Guardians pitching staff pitching coaching to develop Syndergaard maybe into what he once was. He's not playing well right now. He's not even healthy. He's supposed to make a rehab start coming up here soon. But I don't know.
I mean, I think we've talked about this with some of our buddies. It's kind of just like a move to essentially free up some space for some of our younger position players, especially in the middle infield, that we think are capable of being contributors for us for the next, hopefully, like 5 to 6 seasons. Obviously, Ahmed, and a lot of people won't know this just because they're not Cleveland sports fans. Ahmed was subject to a lot of like criticism, at least from the fans around here, and it's tough. But what are you going to do? The guy was a 2-hole hitter and probably should have been a utility outfielder, which is what it seems like he'll be for the Dodgers against left-handed pitching. It was really just a move for the future. I wouldn't call the Guardians sellers right now just because they got rid of Ahmed, but it frees up a lot of space for you guys to see for us to see what we have with some of our younger players. And I don't hate the move for that reason. even though the return wasn't that great.
Yeah, I don't hate the move for what it is. I would have maybe liked to see different type of, thing coming in. Maybe a hitting guy, maybe a corner outfielder. Who knows? We're littered with prospects. We just never necessarily play them. I also think I think Ahmed Rosario is going to be actually utilized in the role in which he will be. I don't think he's going to be an everyday guy for them. He's a phenomenal hitter against left-handed pitching. He's really good. He's batting over 300 this year against lefty pitching. He's going to be very valuable for them. They also got, moving into this next trade for the Dodgers as well, the Dodgers also got another infielder, Kike Hernandez, who, very interestingly enough, Rosario and Kike were in the bottom 3 in the entire MLB. I think it was for, I don't know if it was WRC plus, might have been strikeouts to hits ratio, but they were pretty much, it was a bad ratio for them getting hits. But I think Kike is a great hitter against righties, and Ahmed's a very good hitter against lefties. And then they have Miguel Vargas, obviously. Chris Taylor plays about every position in the diamond. I think Ahmed's going to actually be utilized correctly, unlike what the Guardians utilized him. So it's going to be a lot different. But in that trade, the Dodgers got Kike Hernandez, and then in return, Boston got Nick Robertson and Justin Hagman. I mean, both those pitchers were just bad. I mean, that trade is just a very miscellaneous trade. Next trade, which actually happened today or yesterday, was the Brewers traded away Johnny Severino, and in return got from Pittsburgh Carlos Santana, who is making his, in a way, farewell tour. Still walking a lot, still playing well. He's a leader in the clubhouse. The Brewers obviously had some issues with who's playing first base. Rowdy Tellez is not a good fielder anywhere you put him. So I think putting him at the DH spot and letting Santana play first is a good move for them now. Kind of just a miscellaneous trade there. Next, moving on. This trade actually happened a good couple weeks ago, but it was Shintaro Fujinami from the Oakland Athletics for Easton Lucas, who's now going to the Oakland Athletics. Easton Lucas actually threw a no-hitter in the minor leagues this year, which is actually kind of an interesting stat.
Interesting.
But Shintaro Fujinami, another product of Japan, buddies with Ohtani, had an 8 ERA with Oakland. He was a starter. They moved him to the bullpen. Really haven't been able to figure him out. Kind of, I think, a good move on their part just to, let him be someone else's issue. Maybe Baltimore can fix him up, but he throws 100. He's got really good stuff, kind of like Ohtani. So maybe we'll see how it goes. And then the last trade, probably the blockbuster of them all trades,
Giolito.
The Angels receiving Lucas Giolito and Reynolds Lopez from the White Sox. Honestly, I think this was a fleece job by the White Sox. The White Sox got Edgar Quero and Kai Bush, who Edgar Quero is now the second prospect in the White Sox system, and Kai Bush is now their fifth prospect in their system, and both of them played in the Futures game.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, the White Sox, obviously, super disappointing season, have become sellers. This is a great trade for them to offload a pitcher who really wasn't as good as he has been in previous seasons, and a reliever on top of that to get two pretty decent prospects. Like you said, one of them's number 2 in their organization. But I think for the Angels, really we've seen Mike Trout in the playoffs, one time ever?
Yeah, one time. One wild card game back when it was one game.
I like that at least they're making the most of what might be their last season with Ohtani. They're trying to elevate their team for Trout, who's given so much to that organization. You at least got to make some moves if you're not going to trade Ohtani like they've said at this point. Ohtani's on the roster till the end of the year. It's at least something to kind of win over those guys who have given so much to your organization and have been cornerstones. Trout at least for the last decade, Ohtani for the last 4 years. You got to do something to appease those type of players and make them feel like the franchise is moving in a direction where they're committed to winning. So even though they may have given up a lot, it shows those type of guys that they're committed to winning, they're ready to go. They might be the third best team in that division, but they're making moves to move forward and try and be better.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, showing that promise is a very good thing, specifically with the best player in baseball coming up on a contract. I don't know if Lucas Giolito is obviously going to solve your issues. I think pitching is definitely their biggest problem. Their lineup's much, much better this year. I know Rendon's got the worst contract in the MLB other than Patrick Corbin, but it's very interesting because Giolito obviously was, I would say, probably a top 5 to 10 pitcher as of 2 years ago. He's kind of fallen off since then. Would have probably gotten much more of a package for them then, but nevertheless, maybe it's just a good thing for them now. They're at least trying to show some promise. But staying on baseball, the Guardians are currently winning 6-3 in the top 9 with 2 outs against the White Sox now. Kwan 2 hits, Jimenez 2 hits, Jose Ramirez 0 for 5. Josh Naylor's 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs. Bell's 0 for 4. Brennan's 2 for 4. Oscar Gonzalez, who just got called up, is 1 for 1. He got a single and he pinch hit.
All right,
and he got a single.
We'll take basically anything we get out of him at this point.
Gabriel Arias, who's getting his start at shortstop today, is 2 for 3. Bo Naylor is 2 for 4, and Straw is 0 for 4. Bybee had a great day. He had 6 hits, 3 earned, went 6.2 innings with 6 Ks. I mean, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of the 9 guys in our lineup have 2 hits today. So, very promising stuff from our guards. We'll cover more about the deadline when it officially hits. There'll be a big luster of trades. So, just trying to cover the ones that happened recently now, so then that way we're not cluttered with all the deals that come here soon. But talking about deals, and the only topic we have on the very dead National Basketball Association, Jaylen Brown is now the highest paid player in NBA history. He signed a 5-year, $304 million deal, which is so much money. So much money.
I'm going to rant here just for a little bit. People love to say, oh, you signed this guy who doesn't have a left hand, the highest contract in NBA history. But this is just how it works, man. When you sign an All-NBA guy, the money goes up every year. So when he's making however much it is 4 years from now, there's going to be guys getting paid more on their annual average. Listen, him and Jason Tatum have been to the conference finals 4 times. They've been to the finals once. If you have the opportunity to have 2 All-NBA players on your team, you do it no matter what. Especially when you drafted them, they're homegrown talent. People are going to hate on this deal, but it's the right thing to do if you're the Celtics, and I really don't question it at all. Jaylen Brown's a top 25 player in the NBA, and you got to pay him as such. Even though he's maybe making a little more than you'd like, he's still a great player, and he's one of the most important players to your franchise and one of the best players you've had in the last decade. Pay the man, get it done with. You're going to be happy with him in the long run.
Mm-hmm. I know we covered when we were doing the potential NBA trades. We talked a bit about Jaylen Brown. They officially inked him. They also extended Porzingis as well. I'm curious what they're going to do with that money now to fill out the rest of their roster. I know Grant Williams is gone. Brogdon's gone. Payne Pritchard might actually see minutes. Smart's gone.
Derek White's got to be big for them this year.
I'm curious as to what it is, because I mean, seeing within the last couple of seasons, the Celtics played complete team basketball. Obviously, it was within the reins of Tatum and Brown, but they just overall shared the ball really well, played good defense, and they won the games they're supposed to. That's why they obviously were ranked high seeded in each playoffs. But I don't know. I'm curious to see what's going to come in the future with them.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you don't have the best role players, but guess what? You have a top 25 player in the NBA who can only get better. He's 26 years old. Yeah. You got to do what you got to do when you have 2 phenomenal players, and it's the only right thing to do. Would you have rather let him walk the season after this? No. He's a great player. Retain him. Let him be a part of your roster for the future. That's how I see it.
I also think, and I didn't think about this when we were doing our deadline our trade talks, what necessarily the return would be for, I know, getting rid of or trading Jaylen Brown. I know you would have gotten some crazy packages, but I don't necessarily know if there's a player out there in which you'd really be getting, or another team would be giving up for a caliber player that's better than Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, you're not getting an equivalent value for Jaylen Brown. You're getting young players who maybe end up being nearly as good as him, but nobody on the market is trading for Jaylen Brown, giving you the type of guy who's just going to be
better,
as elite and all NBA talent as he is. And that's all I got to say on that. And they did the right thing.
I really think it is, thinking about it now. It really was the right move to do. So good job on the Celtics for that one. All right, so then now moving us into our last topic of the day, the weekly reoccurring topic. Something good, something bad, Max.
What about the golf outing?
Oh, my apologies, yes. Max and I are playing in a 18-hole four-man scramble at the... we won't say the name of the place, but we're playing it by an island by some water. Really nice place. We played it last year, and long story short, it was the day of the summer last year. We're excited. We're working hard. We're grinding.
Charity outing for the cause.
Yes, for the cause as well.
For the kids, for the kiddos, it's for the youngsters.
It's a great day. Going out there, being able to actually, because Max and I love playing golf, being able to go out there and actually like play for something. Even though you're not necessarily winning money, it's good to see your name on the leaderboard. Last year, we came in very last place.
Well, the funniest part, though, is we played the best we have all year, and we got back to the clubhouse thinking we might be up there on the leaderboard, and we were in dead last.
We were in last. So, I mean, I think we were also very different players back then. We were a little more locked in, a little more knowledge now. We kind of been game planning it a little bit, but. I'm extremely excited. I really think it's just going to be an overall great event. So,
hell yeah, I'm super excited.
If you had to guess an over/under of what we're going to shoot, what would you say it's going to be?
I'm going to set the line, and this might be kind of embarrassing, but we're not the best golfers. I'm going to set the line at plus 7.5.
I like that. I was thinking more of the +8 range. It's going to come down to putting. It really is. Max is a great putter. I'm not so great.
And guess what? Me and my brother's playing with us. We spent about 2 hours today on the greens out at Sportsville, making some practice.
And yeah, that's really good. I mean, we're trying to work hard on it. We're going out for another outing coming up this Sunday to get some more prep and scramble it up. But the play, you obviously want to play really great, but the course you're playing, the day in and of itself, it's really hard to kind of get down on how you're playing given the environment and what you're playing in. So we're really, really excited. We'll come update you guys. Who knows? Maybe we'll shoot +12. Who knows? We'll shoot maybe +2. Who knows? So then, now leading us into our last topic of the day of something good, something bad. I'll go first, actually. Something good, I went on a vacation. I rekindled a love for fishing that I used to have when I was younger. I don't know if Max even knows. But I bought a rod and I fished pretty much all day, every day. Getting time to just spend getting time to spend time with family as well. Going back to college soon too, so just getting some good quality time with the family is always a great thing. And then for something bad, I'm not going to say it bad. Max had a quote on a few episodes ago. There's nothing bad. It's just you only learn and you only improve going on. So. I guess I would say the thing I improve on is patience, is what I'll say.
Yeah, something good for me. My brother's back for the week from New York City, it's always good to see him.
There you go.
Have some family time. We did a little bar trivia today at a bar just around town here in Cleveland, Ohio. Yep. And something bad. Man, summer's almost over. Summer's it's winding down.
Yes, it's winding down. I mean. As for setup goes and for procedures of that, we have a few episodes left of actually me and Max being in the setup in person, and the setup will have to move towards Zoom coming up here in the near future. But nevertheless, I'm excited for our future. I think we're going to always, just keep on improving and keep moving forward with this. So
for sure.
I mean, we enjoy recording these. I hope you guys enjoy listening to them as well. Hope we can provide some, value or something along your day. If you have any comments or questions or whatever it may be, comment them down below. Looking forward to seeing you guys next time here on the